Finger family. My name's Emma. I'm one of the owners of Tenerife Horse Rescue, and this is the lovely Shanty. You can hear him munching probably, he's enjoying a banana. And this episode is all about him and his progress and his time with us and the improvement that he's made, his journey. He's had an incredibly challenging journey here. He's had a lot of problems. I think probably he's got the most difficult story and the longest story. So we wanted to tell you. So, as always, give us a thumbs up, comment, tell us what you think, and enjoy getting to know Shanty. So here's the story of Shanty, and it goes a long way back to when I was a child. I didn't get to go horse riding when I was young, or I didn't have a horse. I didn't have much connection with horses, although I always wanted to. We didn't have the money as a family, and my mum was a little bit nervous. So I actually had an imaginary friend, and his name, although close to Shanty, was Shaggy, and he looked exactly like this horse. I had him everywhere I went. He came with me. I didn't have so many human friends. I just had Shaggy as my imaginary friend. He was a white and brown horse with a black tail, and I loved him, and he came everywhere with me. Now, fast forward many, many, many years, I've had lots of experience with horses since, and now that brings us to the modern story of Shanty. When I rescued him, we actually didn't have any space at the moment, and we said, we can't take any more. But somebody called us and said, you have to do it, because they were riding him. He was on so many drugs to hide his pain, and he had nerve damage on his face, which we'll talk about a bit more later. But everyone was riding with bits. And because they knew that we didn't, someone tried to sell us as a riding horse to us, because we wouldn't use a bit on him. So in the end, we took him. I hadn't seen him, and we turned up, and it was love at first sight, because he looked exactly like my imaginary friend, Shaggy. Of course, I couldn't name an adult horse Shaggy, so that's where the name Shanty came from, my love of Shanty music, and he was perfect. So that's the story of how he came to us. So the condition in which he came to us was less than a lovely little story. He, like I mentioned before, the nerve damage on his face was so severe because he was living in a small run, which was made out of rusty bed frames. And apparently, the story we got told, it got caught on his face and ripped his lip, and it gave nerve damage all the way up his face, which caused it to hang low. He couldn't eat, he was dribbling constantly, and he was in a lot of pain. So this was the first thing you could see when you saw him. The rest wasn't so obvious, because he was on so many drugs that people were still using him as a riding horse, and he seemed more or less okay at first. Then he came to us. It became really evident the pain he was in. It was almost impossible for him to even walk across a paddock. So by the time the vet came, the pain relief had worn off, and we could really see the damage which was there. And it turns out he had a blown tendon in his front left leg. He had 3 or 4 broken ribs, and that was also related to his accident from his face. So he couldn't move. He couldn't move at all. He was in so much pain, and it was so painful to believe that just days before they were riding him in this condition, and the fear in which runs so deep with him that he was doing it. He was willing to ride because he was so scared of getting hurt further. So obviously, as soon as he came to us, we managed to not only give him time to heal his injuries, but to let his mind recover as well, to realize that he didn't need this much. And he's been with us over 2 years now, and the improvement is incredible. Not just physically, but mentally as well. I know we shouldn't have favourites, but with my long history of knowing this horse in my head, I sort of have to admit that we do have a favourite, and this Shanty has now become the face of the finca. So now he becomes the horse that we all know today. He's super happy, he's super full of life, he loves people, and he thoroughly enjoys going out exploring the countryside. He loves going out for walks. We've done lots of positive reinforcement training with him. He gets a lot of confidence with the target, and he loves food. So he loves to enjoy going out for a walk, a roll, play around. So now I'll explain just a small part of his story of his road to recovery. He started his treatment. We had to do a lot of trial and error because he didn't actually react so well straight away to medication and physiotherapy. It got a lot worse before he got better, and it's been a very, very slow journey. This also played havoc on his feet, because when we got him, he had shoes on which had been left a really, really long time, and the thrush was so deep set in his sulcus that he could barely put any weight down on his feet. He had a very toe heel landing, and it took a long time to rehab his feet. So mixed with the medication, the rehab, it was a slow process, but we worked very closely with the best vets on the island, and we did very regular trims and kept his diet in fully natural, and over time he did improve. And again, this will bring you to the horse that he is today. He's almost impossible and unrecognizable. It's a slow process, but it's so worth it in the long run. I know I'm repeating myself, and we do this in most of our videos when we're promoting positive reinforcement and getting that bond with your horse, but I can't stress enough how amazing this process has been, and to see the horse he was to the horse he is now, it's the most rewarding part of our job. And we really have to thank all of you that played a part in his rescue, or the people that donated towards his huge vet bills, who sponsor him monthly on Patreon, all the people that have come to see him with a bag of carrots and give him a cuddle, take him out walking in hand. We've had so many amazing volunteers, and he and all the other horses here appreciate it so much. He really is an amazing horse. They're all amazing, but he really appreciates it, and we're super happy to see the massive change, and we hope that we can help loads more horses the same as we've helped Shanty. So thank you all for watching the video. I hope you get to know Shanty a little bit more. Look at the mess he's making on me. And I hope you understand his story a little bit more. And tell us what you think at the bottom, comment below and see. And tell me if you've had any stories similar to his. Tell me about your stories of your improvements of your horses. We'd love to know. So thanks again for watching. Give us a thumbs up and see you next week when we tell you about more of our other horses.